Hey guys, Claire here, and in today's video, we're going to talk about all things Harry and Meghan. The Duke of Sussex is set to speak at the Invictus Games 10th anniversary service at St. Paul's Cathedral in London on May 8th. It's been reported that Prince Harry will certainly be there, but Meghan's attendance is to be determined. Of course, the UK press is using this as an opportunity to spin tales about the possibility of Harry making a trip to see Kate. Good lord. The Period Company recently posted the collaboration between Jean Co. and Archewell, who banded together to provide sustainable menstruation products and workshops to over 1,000 young girls and women in Nigeria. In other news, we saw the UK press attempting to create some very unsavory narratives surrounding Prince Harry's name being mentioned in a case about P. Diddy. Soon after the news was revealed, we see a lot of people on social media and American media making it very clear that Harry is not named as a defendant. And this is when you quickly see the UK tabloids sort of change their tune, where initially they started to constantly crop Prince William out of the photos. Later on, when social media and American media sort of set the record straight and were very quick to clock the nonsense coming from the UK press, then you started to see a few more pictures of Prince William included.
Prince Harry's name is once again being brought up by the press in an effort to drive clicks and views. That's nothing new, but this example of this happening is so egregious, it's actually making me kind of angry. Yesterday, court filings were released in a lawsuit against Sean Diddy Combs here in the US. The British press has also now found their angle on it, because Prince Harry's name appears one time in these court filings, and that has become a subject today on social media in these news outlets. Here's the thing though, Prince Harry is not a defendant. There are no charges against him, no accusations against him. He is simply named as somebody that Diddy claimed to have access to in an attempt to draw people to his parties. And when you actually click into these stories, you will find that. The court documents filed in the US do not suggest any wrongdoing on Prince Harry's part. But the framing here is what matters, and this is what people are going to see. They're going to see Prince Harry named. That is such irresponsible journalism. But wait, there's more. In most of these cases, the photos used as an example don't just show Prince Harry and Diddy. They also show Prince William right there with the group. But in most cases, they have been strategically cropped to keep the focus on Prince Harry. The absolute worst example of this was from the New York Post, where they used this little bubble featuring a current photo of Prince Harry on the picture. When you look at the full image, that bubble has been conveniently placed right over, guess who, Prince William. That party just so happened to be a concert in honor of Prince William and Prince Harry's mother, Princess Diana. And as the Telegraph understands it, this is the single time that Diddy met Prince Harry. He has never attended any of his other parties or concerts. Here is the only passage that I could find that actually referenced Prince Harry from these court filings. He is named as somebody that Diddy claimed to have access to as a draw to his parties, a group that included celebrities such as athletes, political figures, artists, musicians, and international dignitaries like the British royal Prince Harry. I'm willing to bet that his name is only here because he serves as an example of this type of high-profile figure that Diddy was referring to. A more famous one, if we're being honest, than Prince William, which is why William's not named here, even though there are pictures of just Prince William by himself with Diddy, but we didn't put those in the papers, did we? Because the point of these stories is clickbait. There are already so many people willing to believe the worst about Prince Harry. Hey, let's make a couple more bucks off of him. If Prince William was the one named in these court filings, you can bet that this headline from the Daily Mail would have been about 3 lines longer, and it would have included the fact that there was no wrongdoing or incriminating evidence against him in the headline. Because nobody's gonna click in and read this. They're just gonna see the headline, grab a screenshot, and go. And it's a really troubling thing to have happen because there is this group of royalists, I call them Aranon because their brains have been rotted in the same way that QAnon did to many Americans. These people, like I said, they're willing to believe the worst about Harry, and they want us to talk about that so that we don't talk about the actual person in the British royal family who has been credibly dragged into a lawsuit.
And while we're at the other side of Kate Gate, there's still a lot of conspiracy theories surrounding that as well. Now, even though we've seen the video of Kate talking about her diagnosis, there's still a lot of people who are not entirely convinced. There's a lot of speculation and examination of the video. People talking about inconsistencies, the fact that the flowers in the background never move throughout the entire video. We've even seen some in the media saying that Kate definitely wrote every word of her speech, and some saying, well, nobody asked about that, but since you felt the need to put that out there, now we're questioning, did she even do that? And this is what happens when you have lost public trust, as Kensington Palace has. There are people saying, well, Kate seemed isolated and alone. Why wasn't her husband there to offer her support? And of course, you know, the royal fans were quick to say, well, yeah, he's not in the video. Maybe she's just an independent woman and she wanted to do it by herself. But I'm sure he was right behind the camera offering her silent support. Only for us to find out, and it has been verified by Kensington Palace, that William wasn't behind the camera. He wasn't there at all. So while Kate is saying in her speech that she definitely wrote herself, that with William by her side, William had other ideas. And it's not like he's been busy catching up on a lot of royal engagements, so one wonders why he couldn't be there to offer her support. I hate to make the comparison, but there is no way that Harry would do something like that. He'd be right there beside Meghan, holding her hand, squeezing it, offering support. Also, there are people who are saying, well, now you're saying this is her diagnosis. But why did Kensington Palace say that that was not the case weeks earlier? And, of course, you have the UK press, particularly the tabloids, engaged in the most obvious gaslighting that we've ever seen. And this is the same British tabloids that labeled Kate Fakey Katie, the very same tabloids who labeled her Weighty Katie decades prior. So you see the similarities between the palace and their friends in the UK tabloids. They lie and put out misinformation, never take accountability for it, and gaslight when they're called out on it. Just like Harry said.
Okay, I'm gonna say something that's a little controversial, and hear me out, okay? Everybody's like really backpedaling on like all their content that they made about the royal family, and listen, I feel absolutely horrible that Kate Middleton is sick. I feel bad about that. But they lied. They could have said she's sick. Instead, they doctored photos and they made this whole thing up and got the entire world in a tizzy. They lied. I don't feel bad about that. I feel bad that she's sick. I don't feel bad about my jokes at all.
And while they continue to gaslight us, they also try to put the blame on this insanity on everyone else but the palace, specifically Kensington Palace. We've heard them say for weeks now that the conspiracies surrounding Kate has been created and amplified by Harry and Meghan fans, or the Sussex squad. Then we saw them place the blame on Americans. Then we saw them place the blame on social media. Then we've seen them place the blame on China. Oh no, then it's Russia. Oh no, then it's Iran. At this point, who else are they going to place the blame on? Unicorns?
The very same tabloid journalists that were last week slagging off Kate, saying the palace have to come clean, what's going on, this is going, are today writing articles about give her time, give her space, how could people be so nasty? And I was just wondering, do you not have an archive to kind of go, what did we write last week? Maybe we should be consistent this week. Give it a go. All right, as you were.
And while they're busy doing the gaslighting and placing the blame on everyone else but the palace, you still have Kensington Palace leaking information in an effort to take a jab at Harry. And you'd think that you have two family members, your current monarch and your queen-to-be, suffering from very serious ailments, and you're still leaking petty stuff about Harry and Meghan? What an absolute mess.
If you look like me, do me a favor and let's stay out of ghetto people's business. They got baby daddies, they got missing baby mamas, they got multiple people cheating, there's babies out of wedlock. Kate girl is in danger, but she's not our girl. She's not our girl. They're not our people. So the same way they let Meghan Markle come across the pond and they did her dirty, mind our business. Let those people be ghetto. Let those people be so hood. Let us just let them embarrass themselves and just watch from the sidelines, because that's all we need to be doing. I'm seeing way too many think pieces on the British family from people who look like me defending our girl. She's not our girl. Never has been our girl. Okay? Ghetto people. We've already seen how genetics and time have snatched the looks from that balding man. Let's just let him continue to turn into his father and his grandfather and his uncle. Okay? Have a beautiful day.
I did not think there could be a time where, like, I look at the media being even worse to Meghan until now, recently. I mean, imagine an entire country's press plotting against you, the institution you're a part of plotting against you, false reporting about you, mocking your mental health, mocking your miscarriage, leaking against you, your in-laws sending their team in court against you to testify against you. Like, imagine all of that, and then those same people coming out and trying to denounce bullying and false reporting because people had speculation about Kate's whereabouts, and trying to equate that or make it seem worse than what Meghan has experienced and is still experiencing. It's really choosing to be ignorant. Like, it's really like making a daily choice to be ignorant. While I could not imagine how Kate and her children are feeling with the diagnosis, and I couldn't imagine it, I wouldn't wish it on anybody. I think it is absolutely ridiculous to compare the two situations. I mean, poor mental health kills people. It does. Daily, on a daily basis. But when she experienced having those thoughts, it was, she's lying, she's being manipulative, mocking her, making fun of her about it. When she had a miscarriage, the palace said, oh, we don't speak on private family matters. Yes, they do. Like I always say, they speak when they want to. And it's the same press who was also speculating about where she was. Like, they were also lying, but at the same time speculating about where she was. Lying in the fact that they act like they, like, are in the know about everything. But also, like, why did this doctored photo come out? Why is this happening? Why are they saying this? What is going on? But yet, the public is to blame. This would happen with any public figure. If any public figure was just disappeared and doctored photos were put out of them and just all this sketchy stuff was happening, I would be concerned if people didn't question. Like, I'm like, wow, people really don't care about you. But to say she even has it on any type of the same level as Meghan is like, it's a daily choice of being ignorant. It's like, you know, I'm going to be ignorant and blind to it, really. It's not surprising, but at the same time, it's disheartening because it's the perfect example of dehumanizing Meghan and humanizing and putting Kate on a pedestal. I mean, the Princess of Wales, the future queen, has announced she has cancer, but people are focusing more on hating Meghan and wishing that on her than actually, like, genuinely caring about Kate. And they're, like, begging the public to give her privacy, yet literally, like, the same publications are writing like 5 articles about her a day. And all it is just they just don't want bad press. That's what it is. It's not truly privacy. It's just give me good press. There's no privacy given to Meghan after she revealed she had a miscarriage. There was no privacy given to her. There was no sympathy. There was no empathy. There was only mocking. That's it. There was no, we feel bad for her, we should let her grieve that. We feel bad for her, like, we should give her the privacy to deal with her mental health. No. It was literally, like, coming at her even harder. It just shows the lack of humanity with so many people in the public and the press. It's all about money and dehumanizing. I'm sorry, I'm going to say it again. People like to say it is 100% about race. And if you're going to deny it, that's again a daily choice of being ignorant. It's not the first time Black women have been dehumanized when they come out about certain things, and white women are given the exact opposite treatment. And it's really sad that there has been people who have woken up to at least the press's hypocrisy and double standards, but it's still sad that so many people haven't seen and acknowledged how wrongly Meghan has been treated.
And while we're examining everything surrounding Kategate, I can't help but make the comparisons between the treatment of the women who marry into that family. Princess Diana, Fergie, Meghan, and Kate. The British press and the firm has a history of what I like to think of as hazing of the women who marry into the family. Much like college sororities and fraternities, in order for you to get accepted into the club, you have to go through levels of abuse, dehumanization, and it's only the women, not the men, just the women who marry into that family, particularly those who marry men who are at the upper end of the hierarchy. And this is well documented. Think of Princess Diana. When she married into the firm, they loved her beauty and charisma. Charles, not so much because it took away from his shine, but for the institution, Diana really had the eyes of the world pay attention to the British monarchy in ways that it really wasn't getting at the time. And while they adored the good that Diana brought to the crown, they disliked her intelligence, her independence, her desire to live a life where she is happy, respected, safe. And when she decided that the toxic environment was too much for her to bear and decided to talk about it and leave, you see the firm and then Prince Charles decided to collude with the tabloid against Diana. Much like Meghan and Kate, she was pitted against Fergie. And this sort of symbiotic relationship was beneficial to the palace because it does a lot of the PR work for the heir, who in a lot of respects must be protected at all cost. And also it made the tabloids a lot of money. If you look at the tabloids surrounding the months leading up to the death of Princess Diana, you would see that a lot of the narratives about her being manipulative, of wanting to destroy the monarchy, are the same narratives that are spoken of today about Meghan Markle. Soon after her death, the British press decided to lock onto the narrative of the People's Princess of the UK, just completely ignoring the fact that they contributed to making that woman's life a living hell, especially after their divorce was announced. When Harry and Meghan talked about the bigotry and racism and xenophobia that's been directed at Meghan since the announcement of their relationship, the British press is quick to say Meghan's a liar. She never experienced that. Place the blame onto Harry. Well, if she did experience that, even though we think that she's a liar, why didn't you do it? And the palace, instead of assisting Meghan, decided to talk to members of the British press, especially Valentine Lowe, to label Meghan as some sort of manipulative person who is unstable and not to be entrusted. Does that sound familiar to you? Remember when Princess Diana was talking about her struggles? They were quick to say that she was also manipulative, that she was also controlling, that she was trying to destroy the monarchy, that she was a liar, that she is not to be trusted. The British press and the institution never takes blame for anything that they have done. They never have, and I genuinely don't believe that they ever will. And Kate is similar but different in certain respects. She has been afforded a lot of protection that Diana and Fergie and Meghan were not. But in some ways, she still has endured some level of abuse. Initially, they were quick to call her Lady Katie, call her Wisteria's sister, and some other choice words, which I will not say here, saying that she is unworthy of William, just a mere commoner. Now, they would say the most about Kate, talk about her laziness or her being work shy, which, I mean, yeah. But it's not until Meghan came onto the scene that they got the ultimate villain in the form of Meghan and the ultimate English rose in the form of Kate. But much like all of the other women, Kate also went through that level of hazing. But unlike Meghan, she did not have to deal with xenophobia and racism because she is white and British. And in the situation of Kate Gate, you have members of the press, Piers Morgan included, who were huffing and puffing, calling on Kensington Palace to be more forthcoming about whatever is going on within Kensington Palace. But now, instead of taking accountability for the things that they've said, or genuinely stating a fact that Kensington Palace's lack of credibility is no one else's fault but Kensington Palace, you have them turning the blame onto the public. Just as they did with Diana, just as they did with Meghan. We didn't have anything to do. Yeah, sure, we put out tons of content and articles and panel discussions where we make these claims, we make these accusations, we in some part condition a lot of people in the masses to have a particular mindset about members of that family, but it's not our fault when the members of the public who consume our content amplify it even more. That's not on us, that's on you. You guys should be ashamed. And the sad part is there are people like Piers Morgan and I can't remember the woman, Carol Malone, I want to say. Forgive me if I got the name wrong. But there are people within the British press who were around since the days of Princess Diana, who called Princess Diana manipulative and wanting to destroy the monarchy. And they're still doing it today with Meghan, using the same tired routine, the same tired narratives. And the firm remains quiet, much like they did when Diana was getting hammered in the press. And they remain quiet when Harry and Meghan are chased by paparazzi, when Meghan has a miscarriage. Now you would think that William, who saw how everything went down with his mother and the harm that it did to her mental health, and how it ultimately ended tragically, would steer in an opposite direction. But instead, we've seen him get closer and closer in his relationship with members of the British press. We heard from Victoria Newton, the same editor of The Sun who okayed that article by Jeremy Clarkson about Meghan Markle. William, or Kensington Palace, was in talks with The Sun, paying I believe £200,000 for the footage of William and Kate at the farmers market. So the closer he gets to the crown, the more he mimics what his father did with his mother. Anyone and everyone, his wife included, is thrown under the bus or used as a distraction for their shortcomings, for some good press. Harry and Meghan are ultimately living the life that Princess Diana did not get to live. A life of freedom outside of the firm, a life of love in a healthy marriage, thriving in their business endeavors, and giving back to charitable causes that are near and dear to their heart. And unlike Meghan and Diana, Kate chooses to be an instrument for the firm. And this is not surprising, since most of her life, since, her college days and to present day, has been about becoming a part of the monarchy, with the ultimate goal of becoming queen. So instead of challenging the status quo, challenging the toxic patterns, she either leans into it or turns a blind eye to it if it serves her need. And since William and Kate are to be the future of the monarchy until George's time comes to pass, it's very unlikely that the relationship between the UK tabloids and the palace will ever truly change. Kensington Palace and the vast majority of members of the UK tabloids will continue to use this pattern of toxicity, of leaking, of projection and distraction, never truly embracing the things that is necessary to truly modernize the monarchy. In our current state of affairs, the vast majority of the future generations admire, respect, and expect honesty, authenticity. And from what we've seen, they can't deliver. Or, simply choose not to.
This is an elite level of BS by the Daily Mail. Elite. By now, you all know what's going on with Sean P. Diddy Combs. Clearly, he's in major trouble. But tabloids like the Daily Mail trying to tie certain individuals to the P. Diddy situation because of some dumb lawsuit. Diddy has been famous for 2 decades, over 2 decades at this point. You could name every celebrity on the planet. So for the Daily Mail to just pick Prince Harry, write a headline about it, it's pretty fucking gross. Oh, never mind. This is classy by the Daily Mail in the piece. Harry has done no wrongdoing. He is not facing any legal claim over this. Yeah, no kidding, because it's somebody else. Somebody else just throwing Prince Harry's name on top of every other celebrity that Diddy's ever interacted with. Just stupid.
Is this about popularity or is it about relatability? So we all know that we have different camps in the UK and across the globe. Generally, people are either in the Harry and Meghan camp or in the William and Kate camp. I try and be in the middle on this TikTok channel. Sometimes it's very, very difficult. I can completely understand why the self-made millionairess Meghan and Prince Harry, that's like some kind of crazy modern-day James Bond, have a higher level of relatability than William and Kate. And let's stick with the relatability thing. So, Meghan and Harry's charity work, Invictus Games, the crowd they generally hang out with, and the fact that they're often seen together makes them very relatable for other humans across the globe. I think Will and Kate, with the current scandals, William's really struggled in public ceremonies to look fresh-faced and though he's had a good 8 hours sleep. Maybe understandable. Few errors, he's dropped a few awards, etc. Literally dropped them on the floor. Kate obviously has serious health problems at the moment. We could talk about that all day. Those two generally, when they're seen in public, are very few royal type engagements. So you don't really see them as a relatable married couple. They're kind of on official duty, whereas Harry and Meghan are just enjoying being married and having a great family life. So I think there's 2 levels of relatability. Harry and Meghan certainly more relatable than working royals at official ceremonies. And that stuff is playing out in the polls.
Richard Eden, the very telling reason why Harry and Meghan should seek forgiveness from Kate. Oh, here we go again. Another opinion by somebody that... Who cares what your opinion is, really? What do you say? Who would you tell if you've been diagnosed with cancer? Your family, close friends and colleagues, perhaps. The fact that the Princess of Wales did not choose to inform the Duke and Duchess of Sussex of her bombshell news speaks volumes about the state of their relationship. They're not talking. They haven't talked in ages. So why would she... Richard, have you been under a rock all this time? Did you really think that Kate was going to pick up the phone and call Meghan? And I don't think anyone in the world right now expected Kate to do that. It's like so obvious to all of us. Maybe you're the only one that didn't realize this. And why do they need to seek forgiveness anyway? They've done nothing wrong. All they've done since they've left the royal family and left the UK is trying to live the best life, and they've been trying to tell their truth or tell people, defend themselves, because there's been a lot of things being said, things being leaked out from Kensington Palace, okay, which is and will, okay, and whether it's them, whether it's their aides, whether it's their whatever palace staff. Nothing has been done to stop it. But there's been a lot of things, and there's a lot of unnamed sources, royal experts who have been paid a lot of money to say what the Daily Mail and whatever newspapers want them to say, because they clearly have an agenda, because they are being sued by Prince Harry. So obviously they're going to be like viper snakes. Maybe keep your opinions to yourself, Richard. We don't really need to hear this. I don't think this family that needs to heal, that they're never going to be able to heal and be able to come together and to be part to actually be a family if the media doesn't stop this nonsense. We don't need you pouring petrol into the fire. Every time the fire is, trying to be almost put out, you keep putting more logs, putting more petrol into the fire. This is not going to stop. You divided this family. Stop it. Stop making money of this family. Enough.